a lot of stuff that Mace and Usher know that they ain't telling about Diddy. There's a lot of stuff that they know. Can you imagine, bruh? Can you really imagine?
What you mean by Usher though?
Usher used to stay with Diddy too, when he was younger.
Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty well. And but do I regret it? For the fact that he wants to be called Cinco.
Right.
I know that he probably has some, something with it. But I'm like, hey, you know what though? Do what you want, man.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
According to a man, Usher, he's saying that Usher gave him herpes and wants Usher to turn over his medical records.
I moved to New York City and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
I'll tell you something. The tea is hot and the streets are bustling. You know how Usher has been keeping it low-key lately. Well, not anymore. He's spilling the tea. Usher, the suave as ever and soon-to-be king, has finally broken his silence on the Diddy controversy and chill. Things are going to get messy. You think you know what's going on behind the scenes, honey, but you haven't seen anything yet. So what does Usher have to say about Diddy and why the streets are saying it's going to be explosive? I don't think you're ready for this, because I know you won't want to miss this. Why is this such a big deal? Because Usher isn't just some random celebrity, honey. He's been in the game for decades, and he knows where all the bodies are buried, if you know what I mean.
Looking at this lawsuit, right? Lil Rod, he alleges that, Diddy told him personally that he had sex with Usher. And when you look at the lawsuit, even though they got Usher name redacted, you could tell who it is because they describe him as the guy that performed at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, I mean, we all know who that is, but how you feel about that, man?
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now, I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy camp?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows, the white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp. But yet and still you praise him.
Damn, man, and you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
Okay, everything, let's turn the clock back a little bit because this Usher and Diddy situation isn't new. In fact, it dates back much farther than some of you who are watching this video. You might be wondering, what's the big deal? But I assure you that it goes much deeper than you might realize. Imagine this. It's the 1990s, and Lil Usher Raymond is just a batty-faced teenager with big dreams who suddenly becomes involved in the music industry like a fairy godfather. That is, Diddy himself. People were talking back then too, saying Diddy saw something special in that young boy, and honey, he wasn't wrong. It wasn't all plain sailing though, because Diddy can be a demanding perfectionist who is constantly pushing for more. He took Usher under his wing and showed him the ropes of the business. We're talking about studio sessions, dance rehearsals, the whole 9 yards. Usher was soaking it all up like a sponge, learning from one of the biggest names in the game. Don't get things twisted. Some of you may be wondering if Diddy really signed Usher. No, that's not how the biscuit cracked. Diddy's imprint was all over Usher's early career. He was like that cool uncle who always seems to show up at family get-togethers with connections and advice. Over time, their paths continued to cross, as evidenced by the fire collaboration I Need a Girl, Part 1, in which Usher contributed his smooth vocals to Diddy's. It wasn't a one-time thing. The two have shared stages, parted ways, and been in each other's circles for decades.
A lot of people believed that, Usher was groomed by Diddy.
He wasn't only groomed by Diddy, he was groomed by L.A. Reid, the rest of them too, man. Because they knew what happened. Then they came out and brought him back, and all of a sudden, he's getting all the great tracks. He's getting all the songs. They making him into this star, even though he may have been abused.
They seem to be pretty good friends.
Well, they probably is.
I mean, they did a lot of work together, man, throughout their whole career. Puff was early in his career. Puff and Usher were working together when Usher was just a kid, all the way up. I mean, I think there's videos from not too long ago when they were together, and Puff is making jokes about how they used to wrestle for the Frosted Flakes in the morning. And,
yeah, I bet they did. Somebody frosted somebody frosted somebody flakes. Without the milk.
What do you think it is that keeps Usher from coming out or saying anything?
Because, dog, it's you got to realize in that industry, a lot of people are stand back and say, well, it happened to me. That's how some of them people pay their dues. And the people who don't go down like that don't be as great as the Ushers, as the Diddys. It's a way of passage to certain people in the entertainment business.
With all these people coming out against Diddy, do you think more people are going to come out?
It's a lot of people that, you got to realize is that everybody think, oh, everybody's coming out now. It's a lot of people that wanted to bring stuff out long time ago, but the lawyers wouldn't take it. The lawyers wouldn't deal with it. Cassie opened up a floodgate for lawyers to look at people's cases now and say, yeah, we might can get some money out of that. We might can do that. Yeah, he did abuse you. Nobody really cared at first. But now they see that a lot of this stuff may have some truth to it, and the people can be paid for it, they coming out.
I seen that you've actually talked to some victims behind the scenes.
Yep.
I mean, without naming any names, what all can you tell me about that?
Well, I don't want to talk about what they confided in me, but it's a lot of stuff that has been going on, and like there's tapes that are running around with women. There's tape that is running around with women, and they want to get a hold of those tapes so they could bring them, to the lawyers. And those tapes do exist, but it's going to be hard for them to get, because a lot of people don't want them to know that they was in those tapes and they was a part of it. But it is what it is.
Speaking of tapes, Little Rod says he has a ton of video footage, and that Diddy had him following him with the camera, doing all types of these illegal activities. Was there cameras around a lot back in the day?
Nah. Back in the day, they didn't do that. They didn't even allow people to take pictures hardly. So we didn't have those cameras like that. There was a few cameramen, Alex and this Spanish dude, they was allowed to take certain pictures, but only when you told, they asked you to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, there's footage. There's footage. I have a tape of the party that Diddy gave after Shine was convicted.
Oh. That's interesting. Okay. Diddy threw a party for him beating his case, I take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything on there, or it's just a normal party?
Just a normal party.
I mean, was this just a normal party, or was this like a Diddy party?
It's a normal party. It's a normal Diddy party. Because you got to realize he was normal back then. He was the normal Diddy back then. Now he Brother Love.
Okay, well, I guess there was a situation with Diddy and a rapper, and they were in a hotel room for hours.
Who's that?
That you kind of talked about. I believe it was Ja Rule.
No, bro. No. Stop it. Yo, Cam. Diddy had Sarah and Sarah's girlfriend, right? He was trying to use them to go at Ja Rule, so Ja Rule could go at Jay-Z. He was trying to set Ja up and try to have those girls, throw themselves on Ja Rule in the hotel room, and they was all in the room together. When I got into an altercation with a guy who tried to get in the room, Puff and Ja Rule ran out. And when they ran out, because of the commotion, they was grabbing towels because they was naked when they came out. So he was in there, they both was in there with women.
Okay, I see. I kind of seen you touch on this a little bit, but there was, with the whole Wolf and BMF situation.
Well,
is there anything you could talk about with that?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. Wolf wanted to move on and started a club. Him and a guy, Mike Sally, was going to invest in his club. It was 3, 2, 1.
At this point, it becomes juicy. Usher has had a front row seat to Diddy's world because of their years of friendship and partnership. But as you can see, life isn't always perfect. There are dramas, parties, and behind-the-scenes chaos. Usher has seen it all, So we're not just talking about any regular celebrity when we discuss Usher ending his quiet on Diddy. Throwing shade, we're talking about a real thing person who has been in the trenches with Diddy. The good, the bad, and the ugly Ushers have inside knowledge of everything. Additionally, Ushers have their own reputation to consider. Having entered the game for a short while and established their own empire, why does he choose to remain silent about the changes taking place in the streets? Whispering that there's more to this story than meets the eye, you have to wonder what's seen from Usher's past that's getting him to talk now. After all, in this industry, loyalty is everything, so something big needs to be happening for Usher to break the code of silence. And when I say big, I mean an industry shaking, tea spilling big. Are you ready to hear what users have to say? Because believe me, this isn't just going to be about music and nostalgic moments. We're about to get into some real talk that could alter our perception of Diddy for all time. Hold on to your wigs because this tea is going to be extremely hot.
In this lawsuit, this girl that was 17 at the time, she said that, you know, I guess her and Diddy was having relations and he couldn't get off. So he was complaining to her one time that, you know, he couldn't get off, and for him to get off, she had to pinch his nipples real hard for him to get off. I mean, yeah, man, this lawsuit is wild, man.
She should have had on white polish, fingernail polish. No, man, we shouldn't be laughing about that, man, you know, because she is a victim. You know what I'm saying? She is a victim, man, and if this is her victim story, we got to be more, I think, more compassionate. She was 17 years old at the time. She was fascinated by that whole thing, getting on a G4, G5 jet, you understand? And what was her parents, man? What was her daddy, her mama? They didn't miss their child? She didn't come home that night? I don't know, man. I can't fathom the whole idea, man. But it's crazy.
When you hear about this stuff, right, like the 17-year-old girl saying that, you know, Diddy, he couldn't get off unless she pinched his nipples real hard, and you got Cassie saying that, you know, he'll make her look up BBCs and he like to masturbate while she get banged by a BBC. You're not surprised when you hear about this stuff, right?
Bruh, I knew about the butt plug fetishes because I saw that with my own eyes. I knew about him and Kim being swingers with other people, whether it was another male or another woman or a male and a woman together. I saw that with my own eyes. You got to realize is that after 2005, I didn't see anything that Puff was doing or what he didn't do. Puff had got addicted to opioid, and being addicted to those things bring other drugs on. I seen Puff smoke a cigarette. I never saw him smoke a cigarette. He was on the beach smoking a cigarette on YouTube. Then I seen him, you know, smoking weed and drinking. I was like, that ain't the Puff I know. Drinking like he was and doing all like that. And that ain't the Puff that I knew. You understand what I'm saying? You got to realize he had a certain respect around me because I was his OG from the same game. You understand? And he knew I was law enforcement. He knew I didn't play certain things. So he ain't gonna do what he do around other people in front of me because he knew I'm gonna check him on that. But what you trying to do? So to say that what he's being known for with Cassie, I can only equate to some of the things that I seen him and Kim go through. You understand what I'm saying? So people get mad, you know, but it is what it is. I can only equate his actions like that.
Crazy, man. So all this stuff about him having fetishes is true.
Oh, no doubt. Especially if he getting butt plugs in different flavors.
But speaking of butt plugs, right, I remember some years ago, Cameron, he did an interview and he told a story about how he went to Diddy house with mates.
Yeah.
And he found the dildo in the sink.
I think that was crazy. I think that was out of, and then May said that was Puffs. I think he said May said that was Puffs, but Mace was in the bathroom with it. I don't know what that was all about, man, but that was real weird to me. That was crazy.
Crazy, man. But before we get off of that, right, I remember you told me a while ago that, you know, Mace, he used to live with Diddy, and he know a lot of stuff about Diddy that a lot of people don't know.
Man, it's a lot of stuff that Mace and Usher know that they ain't telling about Diddy. There's a lot of stuff that they know. Can you imagine, bruh? Can you really imagine?
What you mean by Usher, though?
Usher used to stay with Diddy, too.
The Diddy drama has been simmering hotter than your grandmother's Sunday coffee, and it's about to explode everywhere. What's got everyone's pants up in a knot, then? It's not just a small scandal, honey. We're talking about serious allegations that shook the industry, with people claiming Diddy has been up to no good for years and not just the usual music. We're talking about some dark stuff, Miss Shenanigans, that's got people clutching their pearls and reaching for their phones to spill the teeth. You know how it goes. 1 minute everything's quiet, and the next it's like someone lit a match in a fireworks factory. The media has gone crazy, girl, and every news outlet, gossip blog, and Twitter account with more than 10 followers is blowing up with Diddy this and Diddy that. It's like feeding time at the zoo, and Diddy is the main course. But here's the real kicker. It's not just the usual suspects running their mouths. No, a PR disaster. Some people are supporting Diddy and saying how kind he has always been to them, while others are cold and are ditching him like he's radioactive. People like 50 Cent are examples of this. You know he never passes up an opportunity to stir things up. Throwing shade everywhere, those who once collaborated with Diddy start recalling all kinds of fascinating anecdotes. Everyone seems to have something to say and to be trying to be heard.
And the situation is that, bruh, we already won. This was some spiritual that Pac, the spirit of Pac, the spirit of Big, the spirit of Miss Jones, the spirit of Wolf, all the people that he has done wrong, you know, so Black, all the people that he has done wrong, bruh, is coming to light. We already won this spiritual. What we going through right now with these trials and everybody, you know, with this financial situation and everything like that, all that is superficial. That's the physical part of it. The spiritual part of it was won because Big, Pac, Wolf Mother, all the people that he did wrong, bruh, you understand? They already won the battle where we were supposed to win it at. So now we just going through the physical part of it, man. And I want that girl to know, man, that she ain't gotta fear no man. She ain't gotta fear him, nobody else, man. Whenever she needs, you understand? Whenever she needs somebody to travel, to go with her, to make sure she all right, you know, I'm a phone call away, man. I'm a phone call away. And you know, go ahead with your questioning, man. I just had to get that out, man. Cause that girl touched a lot of people, man. Because all she wanted to do was write music, make music, and show her talent and her love to the people, man. And then she got to feel this way, be fearful and scared of her life and stuff like that. Ma, I ain't scared of no man. You understand? I ain't scared of no man. Nobody that got to put their pants on the same way I do. Not at all.
And let's not even talk about social media. It's a conflict zone where people are divided into two camps. Andy Diddy and Teen Diddy, and everyone else is in the center, watching the drama play out while snacking on a bucket of popcorn. People are analyzing every word Diddy has ever said in old interviews, like it's CSI Hip Hop Edition. But this is what's really getting people talking. Not the memes, girl, they're savage. The silence from some corners, you know how it is in the industry. Everyone's connected, everyone's got dirt on everyone else. So when some big names are staying real quiet, you got to wonder what they know that we don't. All this noise, all this drama, and what's Diddy doing, playing it cool, or at least trying to, but you can bet your last dollar he's sweating behind those designer shades, cause once the ball starts rolling, ain't no telling where it's going to stop. And that's where Usher comes in. See, he's been watching all this go down, probably sipping his teeth, and thinking about all the things he's seen over the years, and now he's ready to add add his voice to the mix, but what's he going to say? Is he Team Diddy or Team Spill the Tea? That's what everyone's dying to know. Cause let's be real, Usher ain't just some random player in this game. He's got the inside scoop, the behind the scenes tea that could either put this whole thing to bed or blow it wide open. And honey, the way things are going, it could go either way.
One thing I did see in this lawsuit, Lil Rod, he alleges that, Diddy's son Justin was helping Diddy, get underage girls. And I guess he was bringing them to parties. You know anything about that?
I think Justin is the boy that could do it, if anybody. Him or either Quincy. You understand? Justin is a pretty boy. You understand? He look young. He around that age, what he about 25, 26 years old? So I don't know about underage, but it's a possibility because those girls 16, 15 years old, they gonna like that light skin, that curly hair. You understand? Man, listen here. We got girls that's, what you call them, video vixens. And I ain't gonna mention no names because I don't wanna hear. They say they was sneaking into parties at 15 and 16 years old. So why you think 15 and 16-year-olds ain't sneaking in the Diddy party? So Lil Rod, if he having conversations with him, he may say, yo, how old are you or something like that? Somebody say, I'm like 16, I'm 15. Somebody had to tell him their age for him to know. Who you came here with? I came here with Justin. So what did that say?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And looking at this lawsuit, right, Lil Rod, he alleges that, Diddy promised him a Grammy if he participated in homosexual activity.
I read that, man. You understand? And what kind of power do you have when you can promise somebody a Grammy award? Who are you doing something with, or who do you know that can promise? Beyonce can't. Did Beyonce get a Grammy for anything? Did she get a Grammy for an album or anything like that? Has she got a Grammy? She got Grammys before, right?
Yeah, she got Grammys, but she never got one for Album of the Year, though.
Right. So if she never got a Grammy for Album of the Year, and Diddy could promise a producer, if he's in a homosexual act, that he could give him a Grammy, what kind of power, who he doing, or what he know that he could get that done? That's some kind of spooky shit, bruh. No disrespect. That's real spooky. If he could promise somebody. And good thing the kid didn't believe him, because if the kid would have believed him, he might have got his booty hole tore up. So my whole thing about it is, listen here, man. He has to have some real power, but he showed us his power. Remember at the BET Awards? Remember when they was trying to go to commercial? And he said, nah, we not go. Whoever done that, bruh? Whoever stopped the people from going to commercial? Nobody ever did that but Diddy, bruh. So he had some kind of power at one time. We don't know if he still got that power, but at the BET Awards, when they wanted to go to commercial, he did not allow them to go to commercial. So evidently, he knows somebody, or he doing somebody, or somebody doing him, allegedly.
You talking about when he was giving that speech at the BET Awards for the Lifetime Achievement Award?
When he gave his speech, he just kept going, bro. He just kept going and wouldn't stop. And he said, it don't matter how much it costs. We're gonna keep going. And they wouldn't even go to commercial. That's never happened before, bro. Never.
And me looking at this lawsuit, he also alleges that Diddy forced him to watch a video of Stevie J having sex with a man.
Who, little Stevie? Huh? Who, Stevie? What Johnson used to call him, Stevie? Yo, I read that, man. I don't know if you know this, but then maybe they have a tape that we didn't see because the pictures was a little vague. There was an exotic worker came out and said that was him and not Stevie J. But in order for them to put that in there, they must have clearly thought it was Stevie J or think it's Stevie J. But you got to get this, Art. Check this out. He knew that this kid admired Stevie J and loved the work Stevie J had done in the industry in the past. This kid looked up to Stevie J. Now, what if Puff told him that that was Stevie J in the tape? And the guy looked like Stevie J. He did facial, his face was fixed like he was doing some of the faces Stevie J be making. You understand? So now, the kid could have been drunk, kid could have been high. He was like, yo, Puff could have been like, yo, you talking about, this is somebody you admire? Look what he doing. This Stevie J right here. Now, in that kid's mind, he may have thought that was Stevie J, or he think that's Stevie J. If Puff told him that was Stevie J, it was Stevie J. So people can't say, oh, he lying and everything like that, because we really don't know what was said, but the kid said he told him, this is somebody I admire. This is somebody you got high aspirations for, that you want to be like. Look and see what he doing. This is what you should be doing too. Wow, that was crazy.
And you knew Stevie J, right?
I knew Stevie J real well, bro. I knew Stevie J when he was with Bad Boy, one of the hitmen. When him and Puff fell out, I used to take Stevie J around and everything, bodyguard him in certain places and everything. Stevie J was one of those dudes. He was a good brother, but he always wanted to be seen.
Before Usher turned up the heat to steering our smooth singing, you thought the tea was hot. R&B King broke his silence like a mirror in a haunted house. And let me tell you, what came out of his mouth had everyone's jaws on the floor. So what exactly did Usher say, honey? It's not just what he said, but how he said it. You know how Usher usually keeps things cool and collected, but this time he was serving up some piping hot realness with a side of I don't give a damn anymore. First, Usher said, I've been quiet for too long, chill. If that doesn't set the tone, I don't know what does. He's essentially telling us that he's been biting his tongue, and now the floodgates are open, baby. Then he drops this bomb about what I've seen and what I know. Let that sink in for a moment. Help him view, but this is where it gets really juicy. Usher isn't messing around with some hazy clues or half-truths. He's coming with the complete truth and nothing but the truth. Usher starts talking about the dark side of the industry and how he's been at the center of it for years, girl. When I tell you I gasp, he's not just spilling tea, he's dumping the whole damn teapot now. You might be wondering, why is Usher choosing to speak out now? What changed? Well, honey, that's the million-dollar question. Some folks are saying it's because of all the recent allegations against Diddy. Others think Usher's finally had enough of keeping secrets. But let me tell you what I think. I reckon Usher's been watching all this drama unfold, seeing people come out left and right with their stories, and maybe, just maybe, he's feeling a little guilty for staying quiet all these years. You know how it is sometimes. You got to speak your truth no matter how late it is. And the way Usher's talking, it sounds like he's got receipts. He's not just throwing around accusations. He's talking about stuff he's seen with his own eyes. That's the kind of tea that can't be if you know what I mean. But here's the kicker. What's going to happen next? Will more people come forward now that Usher has broken the silence? Or is this just the beginning of a lot of damage control from Diddy's camp? One thing is for sure, this isn't over by a long shot. Usher isn't just talking about Diddy. He's calling out the entire industry, saying it's time for a reckoning and that too many people have been hurt in jail. The phones are ringing nonstop, the streets are humming, and you can see that attorneys are working long hours. Usher's revelations have completely upended the situation. It's as though he's taken a wrecking ball to the wall of silence in the music business. Now that the dust is beginning to settle, we're all waiting to see what will remain after everything clears.
How you feel, and I hate to ask you about this, but you see it on social media, so I want to get your opinion. How you feel about the people that say that, what she going through right now is karma?
So let me ask you a question like this. Is she the first gossip column? Nah. She was just doing what she had an avenue and she had a lane that was done better than anybody who did it before. That came before her.
But I'm talking about her, coming at people, beefing with people, spreading rumors that wasn't true. One, for example, her saying that Tupac got raped in prison. He did an interview complaining about what she said and how, it was a lie. So, stuff like that,
it was a lot of people that was doing that before. It was, dog, people was exposing that way before then. What about James Brown? They talk about James Brown beating his wife. They talking about Marvin Gaye being strung out on cocaine way before Wendy Williams. They had gossip column, they had shit like that, but she just perfected it and she was great at it. And she came and she brought it to the forefront of television. You understand what I'm saying? It's no different. It's just the way she did it made it seem like it may have been salacious or something like that. It wasn't. It was just her doing it her way. I don't blame her for what she did. I don't think it's nothing different from a lot of these people who come on here who claim like they journalists. She went to school. You understand? A lot of people claim to be journalists like you, myself. We all come on here, but who has an education in journalism? Who has an education in broadcasting? Who has an education in communication that they could come and develop a program and stuff like that? You don't have to have that anymore. You got people coming on here and they talking doing their thing. You understand? But there's none other like Wendy Williams, man. None other like her.
I was looking at an interview from Jaguar, right? And I want to get your opinion on it. She told a story about how she knows a lawyer that walked in on Christopher Williams giving Diddy fellatio for a demo deal. You know anything about that? You heard about that?
Bruh, I don't know how true that is. I've heard that but I know Christopher Williams. And I know Christopher Williams was a crazy, gangster ass Nick from Mount Vernon. From up in that area, Westchester. He didn't play that shit. He kept that 3.2 or that 38 on him, and he will shoot the shit out you. You understand? He was rough with his hands with the women, and the story went on and said that a lawyer walked in the office. When she walked in the office, she walked right out, and she said it was a dude, and she said it was Christopher Williams. It was one other brother, I forgot his name, that worked with Bad Boy. Him and Christopher Williams could have been brothers. And if anybody was doing that, it would have been him, not Christopher Williams. Do you understand that? Him and Christopher Williams could have been brothers. That's how close, that's how they had the same look, light skin, the little low on the side, curly hair and stuff like that. I would never believe it was Christopher Williams. You understand? But that other cat, yeah. You got to realize, when you walk into something, it's very few people, if they walk into something like that, they're going to stare there and look and just be all into the shit, right? There's very few people going to do that. When you walk in something that's very inappropriate, you're going to back up out, especially women. You understand what I'm saying? So now, if she's seen a glance, she only gonna see a glance. Now, if somebody who looks like Christopher Williams, maybe. But then, you gotta look at it like this. Was she in the office all the time? I don't remember us having a lawyer in the office like that. Or she was just coming by that particular time, I don't know. I don't know the situation. I want to stay off that, but I know from knowing Christopher Williams, having an altercation with him before, and knowing people that know him, he's some old crazy gangster shit. And why would he, Puff? Nah, bro. Puff wasn't that damn big back then.
Keefe D, what you think about that situation, yo? What's going on with that?
Well, I spoke to Keefe D's son, and Keefe D's son said that he was all right, he was fine. He never got beat up in jail, all that was bullshit. He in jail with family and friends, and he's doing good. They just trying to get this money up so he can come home.
I don't think you're gonna get the money, bro. Who's gonna pick the money up for that?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Do you still feel the same? You think he's still gonna win it?
I know he gonna win it. I know he gonna win it. You got to realize he got a trial by judge. The judge has to follow the letter of the law. There's only circumstantial evidence and hearsay on a murder case.
The fallout from Usher's shocking revelation is rocking the music industry like a 7.0 earthquake. People are wondering what will happen to Diddy next and if his empire will collapse. His phone has been ringing off the hook, and people are calling him a bad boy for life. But let's talk about Usher for a second. Some people are calling him brave, while others are saying he's just trying to stay relevant. You know how it goes. One day you're a hero. The next you're yesterday's news. But here's the tea, this isn't just about Diddy and Usher anymore. It's bigger than that. We're witnessing the